Ruslan Kogan is the CEO and founder of Kogan.com. Ruslan, good afternoon to you.
G'day, how are you?
Oh, well, thanks for your time. Can you just take us through the expansion into this area? Because this wasn't your traditional trade, was it? Moving into the sorts of things that the supermarket chains offer.
Yeah, Kogan launched as a consumer electronics business 9 years ago, and building out the business was all about efficiency and what is the cheapest way to get a product from a factory to the customer. Now, once we've developed the business, we've been expanding, and we've known that the groceries market or the pantry market is a massive market where consumers want more and more competition. UBS put out a report recently showing that Australia pretty much has a duopoly in that space, and our supermarkets have the highest margins out of any developed country in the world. Now, that's not good enough, and it also means that it's a ripe market for others to come in and steal market share. So once our business had grown to a point where we've got millions of Aussies shopping with us, we've got mass distribution, we've got the systems in place, we were finally in a position where we could challenge Coles and Woolies with what we think is a very strong offering.
How do you do it? How is it cheaper? Is it just that we as consumers in South Australia or Australia have just become accustomed to paying more than we need to? What's the trick?
Yeah, look, Aussies in general have become accustomed to getting screwed by retailers. If you even look at a simple anecdote, like when an Aussie goes on holiday, say to Paris, and they come back, their mates say, "Oh, how was it? What did you buy? Did you do some great shopping?" When an American goes to Paris, their friends say, "Oh, how was the Eiffel Tower?"
Yeah.
We've been so conditioned to things being cheaper everywhere else that the margins that our retailers have enjoyed over decades have been too high, and the internet is making it easier for competition to come along, to communicate their message, to structure a business in a way that cuts out a lot of the overheads and gets a product from the manufacturer to the consumer for much cheaper.
Do you think you can challenge the Coles Woolworths duopoly in Australia?
Look, they're great businesses. They're massive businesses. They're very successful businesses, so it's tough. And that's why, this expansion's only come 9 years after we launched, whereas we've done a lot of expansion during that 9 years. We wanted to make sure that our logistics is in place, our distribution is in place, that we've got a massive community of loyal customers, millions of them. And the early indication has been that it's going to be a very successful part of our business. We sold over 30,000 products within the first 6 hours of launch, and it's been growing at a crazy rate of 70% week on week since then.
It's extraordinary. What is the limit of what you're going to be able to do, or is there a limit?
Oh, well, there's certain hard limits, like there's only a certain amount that Aussies can eat. We've got, 24 or so million people, and there's only a certain amount of produce that they consume. So that's one limit. But, other than that, the rest of our businesses have been growing very fast and taking huge market share. So, Kogan's the number 3 consumer electronics brand in the country now after Samsung and Apple. We've overtaken LG in terms of Google searches. So, Coles and Woolies are great, massive businesses, and we think we'll give them a run for their money.
What about things like refrigerated goods, frozen even? Are those the sorts of items that make it difficult to wholly compete with the walk-in supermarket or grocery store?
Yeah, they're the sort of items that you're not going to see from Kogan Pantry anytime soon, because essentially Coles and Woolies have thousands of mini distribution centres around the country being their stores. For us, we've partnered with Australia Post for the distribution of these products, so we wanted to service Australia-wide, and that was a core requirement of the launch of this business. So anywhere where you can receive Australia Post parcels, you can receive Kogan Pantry items. Now, the business of having thousands of stores around the country and refrigerated vans driving around delivering frozen and refrigerated items like your bread and milk isn't something that we're doing, and we plan for people to use Kogan Pantry in a pretty specific way, because if you look at the value of any typical supermarket trolley, non-perishable items make up a huge chunk of it. You know, everything from confectionery through to cereals on Nutella, your spreads and things like that, or cleaning products. They're the really expensive stuff. So we expect people to once a week or once a fortnight log on to Kogan.com, do their pantry shopping, which will be delivered a few days later. And then in the meantime, for things like your bread and milk and veggies, to go to your local store or market and buy those.
Yeah, that seems to be the model. Ruslan Kogan, congratulations on the disruption. Appreciate your time.
Good to chat. Have a good day.
That's Ruslan Kogan, the founder and CEO of Kogan.com.